from Indian mythology about Garuda. Okay, let's begin. Once upon a time, there was a sage called Kashyapa. Sage Kashyapa had 13 wives. One fine day, Sage Kashyapa said to two of his wives, Kadru and Vinata, "My dears, I am going to perform a yajna, that is, special prayers with sacred fire. At the end of this yajna, you too will be blessed to be mothers." Kadru and Vinata were so excited to hear this. Kadru said, "Oh, thank you, my dear husband. I want to be the mother of 1,000 mighty snakes." Snakes? And Vinata said, "Thank you, my dear husband. I want to be the mother of just 2 sons, but they should surpass Kadru's 1,000 sons in valor and strength." Sage Kashyapa smiled and said, "So be it. Now I am going to make preparations for the yajna." Sage Kashyapa called one of his sons, Indra. You know, Indra is the lord of the Devas, and also some Valkilya rishis. The Valkilya rishis are very tiny. Okay, they're just tiny. So Sage Kashyapa called Indra and the Valkilya rishis and asked them to help him in collecting fuel for the yajna. Now, Indra was mighty and powerful and so strong that he could single-handedly carry a huge tree trunk. And he saw that the Valkilya rishis were so tiny that they hardly could carry just a small twig with great difficulty. And Indra looked at them and started laughing. "Hey, you puny rishis! Oh my God, you can't even lift a twig. Look at me, how strong and mighty I am." So Indra ridiculed the Valkilya rishis. Obviously, the Valkilya rishis were humiliated and they were so upset. They decided, this Indra must be taught a lesson. Okay, then the yajna started and the rishis were chanting so many mantras as part of the yajna, and towards the end the rishis declared, "By the power of all our penances and the sacred fire here in this yajna, we declare that a second Indra be born, who will be mightier, stronger than the current Indra, and who can change his form at will, and who can go anywhere and everywhere whenever he wishes, and who can become bigger or smaller at his will." And Indra was terrified. He realized the gravity of the situation and ran to his father Kashyapa and said, "Oh father, please, please save me from the wrath of these Valkilya rishis. I know I made a mistake by ridiculing them. Please save me." Sage Kashyapa realized that his son was repenting. So he made Indra apologize to all the Valkilya rishis and then requested the rishis to forgive Indra. And he declared that the second Indra who is going to be born will be the head of the winged creatures. You know who are the winged creatures? All the birds. And of course he'll be mighty and everything, but he will not be a competition to the current Indra. Alright, so now in this manner the yagya ended. It was successful, and so Kadru produced 1,000 eggs, which soon hatched, and 1,000 mighty snakes came out. Oh, and Kadru was so happy to see her 1,000 mighty snakes. And Vinata, remember, she had asked for 2 sons. So she produced 2 eggs, which were huge, but the 2 eggs were taking so long to hatch. Vinata waited and waited and waited. She was so jealous. Oof, this Kadru's 1,000 eggs hatched and all the snakes came out, and my 2 eggs, they're not hatching. What do I do now? Ooh. Maybe my children need some help. Shall I try and break open the egg? Shall I? Okay. And Vinata was so impatient that she broke open one of the eggs. And you know what happened? From that egg came out a child whose upper part of the body was formed, but the lower part was not formed. It was just a huge mass of some flesh. That's all. No legs. And Vinata was horrified. Oh my God, what have I done? And the child looked at Vinata with anger. He said, "Oh mother, look what you have done. Look at my body. It's not even formed fully. All because of your fault. You were so impatient. You shall pay for this. You will pay with slavery." And Vinata started crying. "Oh, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry, my son. I didn't mean to do this. Please, please, what do I do now, oh God?" And Vinata's son, who was called Aruna, said, "Okay, if you are patient with the second egg and you let my brother be born, then he will free you from your slavery." And then this child flew away. This child was called Aruna, as I said, and became the charioteer of Surya. Okay, Surya, the god Surya, his charioteer was Aruna. Okay, coming back to this story now. So one day, Vinata and Kadru were just strolling in the garden, and they noticed that at some distance there was this celestial steed, that is the heavenly horse Uchaishrava, which is white, so white, and it just zoomed past. As it zoomed past, Kadru said, "Hey, Vinata, did you see that? Did you see that? Can you say what it is?" And Vinata actually saw it. Then she wasn't sure. She said, "I think that was Uchaishrava, wasn't it?" So Kadru said, Uchchaishrava, oh, so what color was it? And Vinata said, it was white. Kadru said, white indeed. I think the tail of the horse was black. Vinata said, oh, was it? I didn't notice properly, but I think it was white. And Kadru said, alright, let's have a bet. Okay, tomorrow we shall see again. And if the Uchchaishrava appears again, let us see whether the horse's tail is black or white. And if it is black, then I win. And you lose, and you will be my slave. So Vinata thought for a while and said, okay, I think it was white. Okay, we'll see tomorrow. Okay, and she agreed. Then this Kadru was quite cunning. She went to her 1,000 sons, the snakes, and ordered them to just go and cover the tail of this horse, Uchchaishrava. So next day, when Uchchaishrava zoomed past, the tail of the horse was covered with the snakes, which made it look black. So Vinata saw it, Kadru saw it, and Kadru said, yay, look, the tail of the horse is black, as I said. So I win and you lose. Loser, you shall be my slave from this moment onwards. So Vinata became Kadru's slave. Well, she had been cursed by her own son because she was impatient, remember? Yes. And she had to listen to whatever Kadru ordered and asked her to do. And she had to do it. Then Vinata had another egg, remember? So the second egg now hatched. Ta-da! And from that emerged something which had features like a bird, beak, feathers, wings, and it grew immediately into a huge figure. So this was Vinata's second son. So you want to see how Vinata's son looked? Just wait, I'm going to show you. Here. This is how Vinata's second son looked, with a beak and wings. Okay. And as he came out and grew, he looked here and there and searched for his mother. He went looking for Vinata. And when he saw her, he said, Mother, I am your son. And Vinata was so overjoyed. Oh, my son is here. I am so happy. And at that time, Kadru came with her 1,000 snakes and said, Hey, Vinata, I want to go to the pleasure island of the Nagas. My 1,000 sons also want to go with me. So, hey slave, take us there. Now. Did you hear what I said? Now. And Vinata started carrying Kadru on her shoulders and said to her son, My son, please carry all these snakes on your shoulder and we have to take them to the pleasure island of the Nagas. And Vinata's son just could not understand as to why they had to listen to all this. Why do we have to put up with this? Why? And then Vinata explained to her son how she was cheated to be a slave for Kadru. When Vinata's son heard this, he was so angry. He said, so my mother was cheated, huh? He was angry with the snakes. he started enlarging his form. He became huge and let all the snakes climb onto his back, and then leapt up into the sky. Up and up he flew towards the sun, and as he started going closer to the sun, the snakes started feeling the heat of the sun. They started burning and they started falling down into the ocean. And Kadru saw, oh my God, my sons are in danger. I have to save my sons. So she prayed to Indra. She said, oh Indra, please create rain now. I want to save my sons. And so Indra immediately created some rain, and the snakes were saved. Now, Vinata's son sat down thinking, what do I do now? How do I free my mother from this slavery? So he went to the snakes and said to them, hey snakes, I want that my mother should be free from this slavery. What shall I do? Please name your price. Tell me, what should I pay to make my mother free? The snakes started thinking, so he wants to free his mother. Okay, what do you say? Shall we ask him that? Yeah. Okay, so you will do anything for us, right? So go to heaven and bring the pot of nectar, Amrit, for us. So Vinata's son said, the pot of nectar? What is this for? The snake said, what? You don't know what the pot of nectar is for? Whoever drinks the nectar becomes immortal. He or she will never die. Understand? So, go. Go to heaven and bring the pot of nectar for us. And then your mother shall be free. So Vinata's son knew that this must be a very difficult task. But he said, to free my mother, I must do this. So he went to Vinata and sought her blessings. Vinata blessed her son and said, go, my son, you shall succeed in your mission. Be victorious. The end of the first part of the Garuda story. Okay, my dear children, what have we learnt from this small part of Garuda story? Quite a few things. Okay, you remember how Indra ridiculed the rishis? Okay, so we learn that we should never do that. Never make fun of others. Okay. Then you notice that Vinata was jealous and impatient. And so, what was the result? The body of the child was not fully formed. So, we learn that never to be jealous of others and never to be impatient. So we should have patience. So when she had patience and waited for the other egg to hatch, who emerged? A huge creature, the second Indra. Remember? The second Indra. So this is all we learn from the first part of Garuda story. Alright, I shall be back very soon with the second part of the Garuda story. Okay, so remember to like this video, share it with your friends, subscribe to it. Till then, this is Madhavi Aunty saying bye.